We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The DOJ takes on Apple. The IRS uses AI to spy on taxpayers. Planet Fitness suffers for woke policies and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Congress unveiled a $1.2 trillion spending bill ahead of tonight's shutdown deadline. Lawmakers turned in their lengthy federal funding package yesterday, just under the wire, though it's unclear if they'll have the time to vote on it to prevent parts of the government from shutting down at midnight tonight. Republicans cited as victories funding for 2,000 new Border Patrol agents, additional detention beds run by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and a provision cutting off aid to the main United Nations agency that provides assistance to Palestinian terrorists. Democrats secured funding increases for federal child care and education programs, cancer and Alzheimer's research. Republican leaders signaled that they intend to hold a vote today, waiving their self-imposed rule that legislators get 72 hours to review bills before they vote. The Justice Department and 17 states sued Apple on Thursday, alleging the tech giant blocked software developers and mobile gaming companies from offering better options on the iPhone, resulting in higher prices for consumers. The government's antitrust complaint, filed in a New Jersey federal court, alleges Apple used its control of the iPhone to prevent competitors from offering innovative services such as digital wallets and limited the functionality of hardware products that compete with Apple's own devices. The suit also claims that Apple makes it difficult for users to switch to devices that don't use Apple's operating systems, such as Android smartphones. Apple has maintained the power not because of its superiority, but because of its unlawful, exclusionary behavior, Attorney General Merrick Garland said at a press event. Apple said it plans to vigorously defend against the lawsuit. Despite the government claims of a monopoly, Apple has never held more than 25% of the smartphone market. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan is launching an investigation alongside Representative Harriet Hagerman into whether the IRS is using artificial intelligence technology to improperly surveil American taxpayers across the country. In a pair of letters sent to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Attorney General Merrick Garland, the lawmakers point to a September 2023 press release in which the IRS said AI will help IRS compliance teams better detect tax cheating, identify emerging compliance threats, and improve case selection tools to avoid burdening taxpayers with needless no-change audits. However, recent reporting alleges that the IRS's use of AI has also included actively monitoring American citizens' bank accounts en masse and without legal process, they wrote. Meanwhile, 24 senators are calling out the Biden administration for weaponizing the tax code to stifle domestic energy production in the president's proposed 2025 budget. In a letter Thursday to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, the lawmakers, led by Senator John Barrasso, highlighted the more than $110 billion in tax hikes targeting domestic production of oil, gas, and coal proposed in the budget. They said such an action would only lead to higher prices for Americans and allies worldwide. The administration has once again doubled down on weaponizing the tax code against U.S. energy producers, Barrasso and the other senators wrote. It is alarming that the administration believes utilizing our nation's abundant natural resources will be detrimental to long-term energy security. Sadly, the administration would willingly suppress energy production knowing it means fewer jobs and higher prices for the American people, they continued. America is fortunate to have abundant energy resources. Our nation needs to be focused on unleashing American energy and innovation instead of throwing away one of our biggest economic and geopolitical advantages. Maine's top environmental regulator rejected a proposed state electric vehicle mandate in a surprise vote, bucking climate concerns voiced by eco groups and Democrats. The Maine Board of Environmental Protection turned down the so-called Advanced Clean Cars program after receiving overwhelming opposition from stakeholders and citizens. The proposed program would have closely mirrored regulations approved in California, mandating that at least 51% of new car purchases in the state be electric by 2028 and 82% be electric by 2032. The Maine Board of Environmental Protection received nearly 1,800 comments from the people of Maine, and nearly 84% were not in favor of this EV mandate, Maine Senate Republican leader Trey Stewart told the media. Maine is far too rural with far too few charging stations, and many Mainers are also concerned about the reliability of these vehicles in our extreme cold weather months. In another case of go woke or go broke, critics are calling on the top fitness chain to receive the Bud Light treatment after an uproar over its transgender locker room policy created a social media stir. The chain saw a $400 million dive in valuation from $5.3 billion to $4.9 billion just days after revoking an Alaska woman's membership for snapping photos of a transgender woman who was biologically male shaving in the women's locker room, according to a Daily Mail report. Patricia Silva's issue was first reported by the conservative X-account Libs of TikTok, which has since continuously urged gym-goers to boycott the chain and blasted the company for creating unsafe spaces for women. On Tuesday, the account shared an update regarding the valuation drop. Home sales sprung to life in February, rising to the highest annual rate in a year. Inventory is rising, but so are prices. Sales of previously owned homes in February crossed at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.38 million, according to the National Association of Realtors. It was the fastest rate since last February and represented a gain of 9.5% from the prior month. Economists had expected the rate to tick down to 3.93 million, according to FactSet. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.